Let's try one more. So can you walk me through the pros and cons of the different valuation methodologies?
Yeah, so the three methodologies are market comps, transaction comps, and DCF. So the pros of market comps is that it's based on current market, the market's opinion of how much the companies, of what the value of the companies are. So it's current and it's easily accessible. But the cons are that it can be skewed by extraordinary market events at certain points. For transaction comps, again, the same pros that it's based on, it's readily available, it's easy to access. It's based on other companies, how much other companies are being valued. But the downside is that it has higher valuation because of the extra, what's it called? What was the word for it?
Control premium?
Yeah, control premium. So they're valued at a higher price. And for DCF, I remember con is that it's done by the analyst. It more depends on the analyst's opinion. So it can be, again, skewed by what the analyst's opinion is. So that's a con. And an advantage is that if there is the extraordinary market events that cause the other two methodologies to be inaccurate, we can use our own judgment to come to a normal valuation for the company. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd definitely be better. I don't think that everything you said is, 100% accurate. But the way I would probably answer this question is, so yes, you start out by listing the three different valuation methodologies, right? And then from there, though, I would do the trading comps or transaction comps first, right? So the pros for the trading comp is that it's very easy to value a company off of trading comps. You don't need that much information about the actual company itself, right? Like sometimes you might not have information about it. Like maybe it's a private company, whatever. Like I only have like one revenue number, let's say. Well, I could value the company off of a revenue multiple, right? So that's the benefit. It's like it's very easy. The downside of trading comps is that there's no perfect comps. In fact, sometimes depending on the company you're trying to value, if it's very unique or if it's the first of its kind, like you might not even be able to find a good comp for it, right? And so that's the downside of trading comps is sometimes you can't find the comps. The precedent transactions, you listed the control premium as a con. I would actually say I would put that on the pro side, meaning like it's the only valuation methodology that actually takes the M&A control premium into account, which is useful, right? Especially like if you're looking at an M&A deal, like you want that feature, right? And so that's what's unique about precedent transactions. But but the downside is similar to the trading comps, which is that we said it's hard to find the perfect comp from a trading comp standpoint. A lot of times it's even harder to find good comps from a precedent transaction standpoint, because not only does the company have to be similar, which also has to be the case on the trading comp side, but on the precedent transaction side, there's the additional constraint of like that company has to have been acquired before, and it can't have just like been acquired at any point in time. It has to have been acquired recently, because if it was acquired like too long ago, market conditions are totally different. That multiple is not going to be very indicative of what this company should be worth today, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's the downside of precedent transactions. And so you do those two together because those are like the relative valuation methodologies. And then you move over to DCF, which is more of an intrinsic valuation. And you kind of just flip what you just said upside down, right? The benefit of a DCF is that you can sensitize a lot of different inputs, right? Like you can say, okay, if revenue growth changes, how does that affect my valuation? If margins change, how does that affect my valuation? If my CapEx goes up or goes down, how does that affect my valuation? Like you can play with all these different inputs to see how it affects the output. You can't really do that with trading comps or precedent transactions. So that's useful, right? And also the other benefit is like when you don't have a perfect comp, you don't need to find one. Like it's based on the intrinsic valuation of the company you're trying to value. So who cares if there are no good comps, right?
Yeah.
Downside of DCF is kind of what you said, which is like, it can be highly subjective. It depends on who's doing the DCF, right? If you're advising the buyer versus advising the seller, you're probably gonna have a different opinion or try to get to a different conclusion in terms of how much the company is worth. And so in that sense, it's a bit easier to like kind of fudge the valuation, which you could argue makes it like a lot more subjective, which is probably not what you want. Like valuation is inherently subjective, but it's probably, you want to be as objective as possible, right, in an ideal world. So that's the downside of DCF. So that's kind of how I would think about that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for more customized advice that's tailored for your specific situation, then I invite you to book a free strategy session with our team at the link below. We'll talk to you soon.